with my super busy schedule, I just don't have time to mow the grass on a regular basis. We usually hire a guy to mow the grass, and he does come out every 2 weeks, but in the summer, the lawn grows very quickly, and I definitely need help in between those cuts. Also, hiring somebody can be expensive. When I found out at CES that one of my favorite robotic vacuum companies also makes lawnmowers, I had to try it out for myself. In this video, I'll be partnering with ECOVACS to take a look at their GOAT A2500 RTK to see if this robotic lawnmower really lives up to its name, greatest of all time. Let's go ahead and get started. For me, hands down, one of the best parts about the GOAT A2500 is just how easy this was to set up. Most robotic mowers require you to bury a perimeter line around the entire yard, which could be back-breaking, time-consuming work. That's just not the case with the GOAT A2500. To get this set up, I found a good place for the power station that was close to a power outlet. I was able to put this very close to my wall so it's not out in the open. Next up, I had to find a good open spot for the RTK. Now, this needs to be at least 6 feet away from your house's wall or a tree, and I did have to place mine a little further out because I do have a 2-story house, so in order for me to get a good solid connection, I was more like 12 feet away from the base station. I did decide to go ahead and bury that wire because I do have kids and I didn't want that to be a tripping hazard. This does come with little ground spikes that can secure the wire to the ground, and then of course, as the grass grows, it's just going to grow right over that wire and you won't really see it anyway. Next, I put the mower in the charging base and verified my connection within the application. My first verification failed and I did have to move the RTK station once. If you're going to bury the wire, I would suggest making sure you have a good solid connection that's verified in the app before you do that step. Next up was my favorite part, setting up the perimeter. Like I mentioned earlier, there is no perimeter wire. There are a few ways to set up the map. You can drive this like an RC car around the perimeter of your yard. Where there are well-defined edges, you could actually click the auto mapping button and this will automatically find the edge and follow it. This works really well against walls and fences, and even in places where there is a very distinguishable difference between grass heights. Once you have finished mapping out an area, you can move on to the next area, and you'll have the ability to mark corridors so it has a way to go from one area to the next. From there, you can choose how you want to mow, per area, automatically, or just the edges, and get this started on its first cut. By now, I do have a few cuts under my belt with the GOAT A2500, and I have to say, this is a super powerful lawnmower. The first cut that I did with this lawnmower, I didn't expect much out of this. In fact, I thought I was probably gonna have to push mow this first, which the manual does suggest if your grass is over 4 inches tall, but I decided to give it a go. With a high-powered 32-volt energy platform, this delivers stable, consistent cutting performance. This had no issues cutting through my thick, taller than average grass. That's thanks to the 100-watt cutting power. The dual cutting blades power through the grass at 3,000 RPM. Not only is the mower fully capable, but I found it to be very efficient. It has an extra wide 33-centimeter cutting width and is able to cut 400 square meters per hour. This does have 2 mowing options, a delicate option, which can mow at 1.3 feet per second. I used that when my grass was a bit taller. When I was just doing maintenance cuts, I was able to use the quick mode, which mows at 2.3 feet per second. So this can go very fast and get the job done quickly. Another super convenient feature is the ability to adjust the height of the mow. You're able to adjust this from 3 to 9 centimeters. What I found is that when my grass was super tall, I could mow this at a higher setting, and then later on, if I wanted it to be a closer cut, I could go back and adjust that to a lower cut. I'm able to mow my entire yard that I have mapped out here, which is the front yard and both side yards, in about 2 charges. When this does run out of juice, it returns to the charge station. This is able to fully recharge in just 45 minutes thanks to the 180-watt fast charging. This means you could get the mower starting early in the morning, and by the time you're ready to go outside and enjoy your yard, it'll be finished cutting. I was super impressed with how this was able to mow with pinpoint accuracy. Thanks to the LiDAR enhanced RTK, this knows exactly where the edge is and mows all the way to the edge, reducing the need for manual trimming later. This advanced navigation allows this to mow in an S-shaped pattern for efficiency and maximum coverage, ensuring that no spots are missed. Within the application, you can set up no-go zones, so if you had a pool or maybe a garden area that you needed this to stay away from, you had the ability to set that up. This also has really great obstacle avoidance, so I don't have any areas in my yard that I really need to set up a no-go zone, but my kids do play in the yard and sometimes the ball's left out and I do have some other plants that this does need to avoid. This does a great job of detecting those objects. This can even detect and avoid animals, so when my pets are out, it avoids them. And other animals like hedgehogs are detected by the AIVI 3D obstacle avoidance system. This system can even detect low-lying objects like water hoses. As you can see, it was easily able to avoid this vegetable stake that I placed on the ground. Along with the obstacle avoidance, you've got other safety features like auto stop. When it's lifted, if someone were to pick this up, the blades stop rotating. This can detect rain and return to the base station for charging. In the application, you can set this to resume cutting a few hours after the rain has stopped. I don't have any large hills in my yard, but my backyard does have a slight slope, and this had no issues climbing the slope in the backyard. This is able to climb hills with a 50% slope, so if you do have a ditch area or some other hill, this would be able to climb that. In the application, you can set the type of mow that you want to do here. You can also monitor the mower as it's actively mowing, see where it's at in the progress. You also have the ability to set a schedule so that this can go out and automatically mow. You can choose just to mow a specific area or automatically mow everything. You can set up the specific days and the specific times that you would like this to go out and mow. Within the application, you have the ability to customize your map. So I have my front yard and both side yards mapped out here. And if I wanted to, I could actually split up this first zone here. So if I go to divide, choose my zone, I can draw a dividing line. So maybe I only want to mow this half. I'm able to divide that into a new zone and section. Overall, I have to say that the ECOVACS GOAT A2500 RTK, it definitely lives up to its name. This is definitely the best ECOVACS robotic mower that I've ever tried, and it's one of the best that I've tried in general. I love how powerful this is. Even when my grass was a bit overgrown, it powered right through it. It was super accurate, being able to mow all the way to the edge, and this was super easy to set up with no need for barrier wires. While the setup process was super easy, it did take me a few different tries to find a suitable location, and that may be an issue for some, finding a location for the base station that can access the yard, while also finding an RTK location that can access the sky. Another potential con could be the price. This is pretty expensive at $1,999. Depending on your yard size, you may not actually need the A2500, which is great for larger lawns up to 5/8 of an acre. If you have a smaller lawn, the O1000 would be a solid option, being able to mow up to a 1/4 acre for about half the price. All in all, this is definitely a great option for homeowners like myself that just don't have time to get out and mow the grass, and also potentially for elderly folks that may not have the energy to get out and mow their yard on a regular basis. I'll be sure to include links in the description of where you can find out more information about the GOAT A2500 RTK and where you can pick one up for yourself. That about wraps it up for this video. Thanks guys for watching. Be blessed. I'll see you in the next one.